Hey, it's Dave from Bullpen Cycles, and today we have a challenge. And the challenge is finding a US Forrest Service approved Spark Arrestor for your vintage off-road or dual sport motorcycle. Here we go. But first, the bikes. This is a model 103 250cc Persang. It's a Bultaco Persang. And I already found the Spark Arrestor for it. I'll tell you how we did that and what works. But this is going to be my next ride. This is a 1961 Greaves Hawkstone, I think, which was their scrambler. The Scottish would have been their trials bike, but this someone converted with a 500cc Triumph Twin. So I have to find Spark Arrestors that will work with these Triumph Scrambler pipes. And then this is a 1973 500cc Trophy Trail. And again, this is not a Spark Arrestor. That's some kind of silencer that goes all the way in, and it's rusted fast. It's much longer than this clamp. It goes all the way in there, and I'm gonna have to find a Spark Arrestor that fits that. Okay, so this is a 250cc Persang pipe, just like what's on that Bultaco outside. And the first thing you need is the outside diameter. You can use the inside on some of them if you're thinking of fitting an internal screen. But I'm looking at external adapters, either clamp or screw on. So we need the outside diameter. Which here is exactly 13 millimeters. With that, we can usually find a Spark Arrestor. Now, you'll go on eBay. That's what I do. When I look on eBay, I don't look in the automotive or motorcycle parts section, because then I get a lot of this stuff. And this stuff doesn't help you. Sometimes you get the replacement screens for these, and they don't help you. They don't have any markings on them, no number. It's gonna say replacement screen for FMF, I don't know, power pack or whatever. And that doesn't help you. Because what the Forest Service wants, they want to be able to identify your Spark Arrestor by a unique number identifier. And it doesn't have to say US Forrest Service approved. It has to have an identifier that they can look up in the US Forrest Service Spark Arrestor guide. And I'll get more on that later. So when you're searching on eBay, I use the home and garden, and I look at lawnmowers and generators and engines and tractors. I don't go straight to the motorcycle section. And a lot of times you'll just have a picture, and the picture will have a number on the picture, but it won't be in the description. So like in this case, this has a patent number, 4872528. And I was able to Google that patent number, and I got Nelson Manufacturing. It's actually on the USPTO website. But with Nelson Manufacturing, I was able, and here it is, here's a maker's mark, NM, Nelson's Manufacturing. I was able to identify a model number, 49022. And with either one of those unique numbers, in some cases it's the model number, and whatever the manufacturer uses to identify, or whatever they assign to identify this Spark Arrestor, that's what the Forest Service looks up in the guide. So in this case, it's NM for Nelson Manufacturing, and this 49022 number. And you can look that up in the guide, and then you'll see a diagram. And it'll actually tell you all the different dimensions, the diameter, the screen, everything you need to know about this. And that's how they look it up. And you can't just take a screen from one pipe, stick it in another pipe, because that's considered modified. You actually have to have your apparatus look just like what's in the guide. So this one, and it's 15 millimeter, it snaps right on, and you drill it hole, retain it on. If you were to weld it on, you're changing it. If you were to clamp it on, you're changing it. If you're to take an end cap from this, put it on your other muffler, you're changing it. So that doesn't work for you. And the stories about the ranger shoving a stick up the pipe, that's not the way they're supposed to do it. And if that works for you and you get away with it, you're lucky. But in most cases, that's not supposed to work. So how do you look up this guide? The guide is actually a 3-volume set. And it's produced every couple of years. And in the first page of each volume, there's an address or a contact where you can write to get an updated version of the book. The first book, the one I mostly use, is actually says locomotive, volume for locomotive, and I think it says general purpose. I don't know what they mean by locomotive, because they don't mean trains, but maybe they mean like big tractors and stuff, because that's what's on the cover. And that's where most of these are. And the other section that's helpful is if you just want to bypass searching eBay, go straight to the Nelson section. Nelson is like the biggest manufacturer of Spark Arrestors in the entire catalog. So you can just flip through all the different diagrams and see if you can find one that will have the correct dimensions that you need. Now this 49022, there's a 49020, a 49021, a 49022G, which I think the screen is out the other side, and they're all similar, but they'll have different diameters. So sometimes you can just short circuit the eBay thing, find one, identify it from the guide, Google that number, and find who sells it. So, okay, volume 2 is multi-position engine. So that's like chainsaws and lawnmowers and weed eaters and stuff like that. Engines that are mounted in all different directions. That's going to be volume 2 of the Forest Service guide. You can look in there, who knows. And volume 3 is OHV. That's off-highway vehicle. That's going to be your quads, side-by-sides, and I think some motorcycles too. So that's how I found a Spark Arrestor for my Persang. But I needed something for my Triumph Grump. And that got me to these. Here I used an inside diameter, and it's a cone, but this cone, unlike the replacement parts here, actually is, as a standalone product, Forest Service approved, and has a number. It's by Fish, F-I-S-C-H. And they make a range of these cones to fit inside your pipe, and a lot of them are actually designed to fit in pipes like this, where you have no screen, but I'm putting them in my Triumph Grump. And the sizes range from 3/4 of an inch to just over 1 3/4 inches. And this is kit 30. I think it brackets the 1 1/4 inch, and I got 2 of them, one for each pipe on my Grump. What you get is, you get a couple of set screws, an Allen wrench, the cone, and some Loctite. And it's simply a matter of centering it inside your pipe after applying the Loctite to the threads and tightening it up inside your pipe, and it's supposed to stay there. I'm kind of surprised they didn't use red Loctite, but they used blue, and we'll see if it works. on the Triumph Trophy, we can't use one of those internal spark arrestors from Fish because of this taper. The securing screws won't secure, and this, as we know, that's a pipe that goes all the way through. That's not removable, notwithstanding the clamp. So I'm going to look for something that secures out of there. And we need I get 1 7/16. So I'm going to need 1.5 inches. Lucky for me, that's right on the next page. Now, I'm going to put links to the 3-volume guide on the comments section. They're a little out of date. You can get updated versions, but it'll give you a start. Now is give you a tease before we hit the trail and find out if those stay in place or shake loose.